How does a lacrosse coach assess his or her players? This is the one question I wish to find the answer to through my observations back in late October during Lesson 2 of this class when I visited Xavier Preparatory Academy girls lacrosse varsity practice to interview Coach Alexa Trenchel on her learning theories that she used on the field for her players. Coach Trenchel is an educator working in a non-traditional education setting at a private all-girls school. Alexa started out practices with line drills, which he says are implemented into the first 20 minutes of every practice due to the importance level of ball control. If a player dropped the ball during these line drills, they were mandated to run a lap around the turf field. After these line drills, players gathered into groups based on position. Here, they worked in groups doing task-specialized drills. Players were given explanation and instruction of the drill before doing it, while doing it, and after completion, covering all 3 stages of the learning process. The last 10 minutes of practice were used for sprints, but not your ordinary sprints. Alexa made her players run sprints like a gauntlet. First one to the end of the goal line was done running, but the rest had to keep going until there was only one girl left. In sports and competitive athletics, in general, we know that top-tier performers are the end goal for each individual. For that reason, Coach Alexa utilizes performance assessments, which are forms of assessments that require learners to carry out activities or procedures to product in order to demonstrate learning. This form of assessment was noticed several times throughout practice, but can be best displayed in the last 10 minutes of practice while the girls ran what Alexa calls gauntlet sprints. This unique form of running sprints was used as a performance assessment for Coach Alexa. She could observe which girls gave everything left in their tank and also the ones who accepted failure and wouldn't even try. She could then take what she learned from her players and make strategic game plans based on these results. Alexa seemed to adapt her coaching style to what she was trying to teach. Simple drills were explained and then performed, but when it came to developing plays at game speed, she took a more diagnostic assessment approach to the practice field. Diagnostic assessments provides useful information at 3 stages of the teaching process: before instruction, immediately following instruction, and periodically throughout the season, according to Obie and Snap. By a diagnostic approach, I mean she broke it down piece by piece, letting the players know what their role is on the field, where they needed to be, and what to execute. Game plays were drawn on Coach Alexa's whiteboard and explained before it was performed. If any troubles occurred while running the drill, she would then stop the drill, go back to the whiteboard, and make sure everyone knew what went wrong and how to fix it. Once her players mastered the drill, she would then have them run it periodically during games. I agree with the coaching assessment strategies of Coach Alexa. It is clearly observed through practice how the forms of assessment chosen by Alexa benefit both the learner and the educator herself. Her performance assessments allowed her to visually see which players worked the hardest and gave it their all in practice in order to grow their own skill set. Measuring skills is crucial in disciplines where most learning is centered around performing specific skills, according to Obie and Snap. By utilizing the diagnostic approach while teaching game plays, allowed for strengths and weaknesses in players to be displayed. Once they were displayed, they could then be addressed through conducting new drills, and which would in turn help the gameplay be ran more effectively. Diagnostic testing may be used to measure mastery of specific skills, strengths, and weaknesses wherever the educator wishes to monitor progress or change in the educational program, according to Obie and Snap. For the purpose of coaching, I would recommend that Alexa uses self-assessment and peer assessment to better evaluate her players on a wider spectrum. Self-assessment and peer assessment are recommended for helping learners to understand and sometimes frame the criteria against which their work is judged. This approach to assessment invites learners to negotiate and discuss their learnings, to set targets for themselves, and also to monitor and describe their own performance in consideration of their achievements in relation to evidence, according to Hall.